How's it going, everybody? The meteor that destroyed the sulfuric pylon here. Today I'm talking about KSI and Logan Paul, and them basically having an entire, month-long schism over Dan TDM, and it just seems like Minecraft YouTubers in general, because this is just unbelievably hilarious at this point. So, of course, for those of you who have absolutely no idea what it is I'm even talking about, or how this even started, allow me to explain. So, give or take about a month ago at this point, as of recording this entire thing started on September 16th. About a month ago, KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast, the unholy trinity of washed up YouTubers, decided to fuse their divine powers together to create something that no kid should ever consume, known as Lunchly. It is basically their attempt at trying to make a Lunchables competitor that is probably only slightly healthier than the average Lunchables. And of course it contains just like what you would expect from a Lunchables, except this time with real cheese. I'll explain why that was a terrible idea just to begin with in just a little bit here. But on top of that too, it also contains a Feastables bar and Prime, you know, the fucking sewage drink that I had not too long ago on camera that nearly put me into the fucking hospital. No. What the fuck was that? But anyways, Lunchly, aside from the problems that it has with containing prime hydration, it also contains, some things that should not even be contained within something that is trying to be a Lunchable. Because, as you know, Lunchables aren't really kept in, refrigeration, unless you live in a country that just does that for whatever reason, or you have a store that just does that for whatever reason. Because, there's a reason why they use heavily processed cheese. It's so that way it lasts longer on shelves, and there's already massive problems with Lunchly already containing mold in it, because they made the mistake of including real cheese in something like this. So, yeah, I guess you can have some mold with your lead poisoning right there with your fucking prime hydration drink. But one of the biggest mainstay content creators, probably one of the most beloved content creators of all time at this point, Dan TDM, basically saw this and had a few words to say, and honestly, I'll explain my own thoughts, but for all intents and purposes, I pretty much agree with him here. And he says this: "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money, simple. And how does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." But of course, this is basically where this all started, right? This is where this all started. Dan makes one singular tweet, basically pointing out the complete, the fact that a lot of content creators are just not as genuine as they used to be, especially when it comes to, their merchandise or anything along those lines. Now, of course, there were some really stupid fucking points, and I'll bring up those, especially since, KSI makes a couple of those and, coming up here soon. But I can completely agree with Dan here, okay? It's probably not just about merchandise, in my personal opinion, although merchandise does just kind of play into it. And this isn't just, your regular merchandise. A lot of YouTuber merchandise is usually just, toys and shirts or something like that. At least you could make the argument that at least the shirts at least put clothing on people's backs, and that's perfectly fine. But this shit is you're basically just selling fucking rat poison to kids and telling them to eat it. It's just that's just my personal opinion. This shit is terrible, and especially given the fact that two of these guys are basically confirmed scammers at this point, and KSI is just a really washed up YouTuber that nobody takes seriously anymore. It's just kind of there's really not much else to fucking say about it, other than it's just genuinely fucking sad. But wouldn't you believe it, this one fucking tweet from KSI basically led to about a month-long fucking, constant campaign by KSI of him just whining about shit. Of just him whining about everything, to the point where he even tried to create an entire song centered around it that basically led to him, well, wouldn't you believe it, quitting music, basically. I'll explain that in just a little bit here. But of course, KSI's first little clapback here is him pointing out that, Dan TDM partnered with fucking Tube Heroes and fucking, what is this shit? YouTubes and shit like that. And just says, "Looks like crap to me." And of course, we have a community note pointing out that KSI has actually partnered with these companies before, multiple times. basically KSI inadvertently biting the hand that is fucking fed him at this point. But of course, he continues going on here, stating, but he was talking about food. He was sponsored then promoted to make a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? Now here's the funny part about this one, and it's pointed out within the community note here. This video that he's pulling this shit from is from 9 years ago. This should have been the first spark that KSI was going to have a month-long obsession with this man, because he decided to go to DanTDM's second channel and scroll back 9 years ago to find this video where Dan was sponsored by fucking Munch Pack. Like, dude, this is completely fucking different, and that's not even getting into the fact that, like, KSI has actual ownership over this Lunchly brand as well, because it's a partnership with 2 other YouTubers to create this shit. I just don't even know what else to say here, man, but it just keeps on fucking going. Even further on, he goes like, this whole DanTDM and Lunchly beef really shows that I'm in the thick of it. Oh my fucking god. This was his first, way of, trying to promote this really shitty song of his that right now is currently, the internet's main punching bag, funnily enough. But again, I want you to just point out here, this tweet was made on September fucking 23rd, and this entire, quote, beef happened, 6 days ago at that point, and Dan has not said anything after that point. Dan made one tweet about it and went to live his fucking life with his wife and child. Meanwhile, KSI, Captain Balding himself, apparently just decided to let DanTDM live in his head rent fucking free. Even later on, apparently, KSI tries to insinuate that apparently DanTDM was apparently attempting to, cancel him when that wasn't even the fucking point of the tweet whatsoever. It is just so fucking stupid. But yeah, basically KSI for about, multiple days straight basically decided to go against Twitter's guidelines in terms of promotion and whatnot. But of course, let's fast forward a little bit to October fucking 3rd. Keep in mind, this is, the following month at this fucking point, where he points out, where someone just points out that apparently a collaboration with fucking Kai Cenat happened with fucking, McDonald's or something like that. And then KSI just says, DanTDM, where you at? Again, completely missing the entire point, because last time I checked, I don't think Kai Cenat owned fucking McDonald's, but whatever. But of course, here he is crying about people, pointing out that his song is complete dog shit. And then, of course, on October fucking 4th, this is about as recent as it can possibly get here, we have KSI apparently now trying to get DanTDM onto his fucking Flaccid podcast. Again, I want you to keep this in mind. This is almost an entire month later, and KSI is still crying about DanTDM. This is a month later. Dan hasn't said anything else. All he's been doing is living his fucking life. In fact, and of course, KSI continues to whine about it, where he basically just pulls out this stupid excuse of, well, you're the one that started this, and I'm just trying to finish it. Dude, you're... what are you even fucking talking about at this point? This is just so fucking pathetic. What did Dan exactly start? All he basically said was, do better. All he told you to do was to just be a better person. And here you are fucking still crying about it a month later. Then, of course, one of the rare occurrences where, Keemstar is actually somewhat based, where, Keemstar basically points out that listening to fucking KSI's newest song is akin to medieval torture, and then, of course, KSI is just whining about it right there. And then, of course, all DanTDM... And here's the funniest part right here, okay? DanTDM posts that he's just living the dream with his wife and child, and then KSI just retweets it saying, happy for you, bro, as of 23 hours ago. This is a level of derangement syndrome I didn't even think was possible, but here we the fuck are today, I guess. We're dealing with somebody who has this amount of derangement. Again, I want you to keep in mind, one tweet. Dan hasn't said anything after this, and fucking KSI is trying to fucking start beef with him, and it hasn't worked at all. It hasn't worked at all. Dan has completely fucking ignored him. I think that's the funniest part. But here's the even funnier part, right? It seems that KSI's, business partner here, Logan Paul, was feeling a little bit left out with trying to start random beef with Minecraft YouTubers. But Logan Paul apparently is now trying to start, beef with fucking TommyInnit right now. Because once again, like always, it always ends up starting with one tweet. But the main difference here is that TommyInnit is actually at least just kind of going like, dude, what is actually fucking wrong with you with trying to start this stupid, meaningless beef right here? But of course, TommyInnit points out that, like, in one particular section of, I think, one of Logan Paul's most recent videos, there's a section titled Gaza Conflict, and it's just him plugging Prime. For fuck's sake. You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make this shit up, man. People are using a fucking deadly situation happening in the fucking Middle East in order to promote their shitty sewage drink. And of course, Logan Paul just says, fucking, that offline glaze, bro, where it's just showing that TommyInnit was just being a good friend, like, last year. And then TommyInnit... Okay, I'm sorry, I just have to read this fucking tweet right here. TommyInnit says, if the same week I had a daughter, I also lost to a beef with TommyInnit, I would kill myself. I think with that one, you probably just kind of, like, gave him flashbacks to a certain forest incident. But of course, once again, Logan Paul decides to, like, clap back with, well, again, year-old DMs at this point. With basically just pointing out that apparently TommyInnit just being a good fucking friend is apparently just like, it's... I really don't know what else to say here other than this is just genuinely fucking pathetic. But it continues to keep going right here, because TommyInnit points out this and says, why do you keep posting private messages of me being kind to you? Are you stupid? I mean, to be fair, he probably is. He probably is. Am I following this guy yet? You know what, this is probably going to be one of the only, like, new age Minecraft YouTubers I'm even going to bother following on Twitter. There we go. But of course, Logan Paul decides to try and clap back by saying, because you beg me for attention offline, then run to Twitter when I don't acknowledge you. Another fake internet kid. Keep in mind, again, these are, like, DMs from, like, a fucking year ago, it seems. And... it's just so fucking pathetic, because as far as I'm aware of, at least judging by TommyInnit's, like, fucking responses here, they haven't even been in contact for over, like, a fucking year, and all it was just TommyInnit pointing out a very shitty thing that Logan decided to put in the middle of a fucking video with a chapter titled Gaza Conflict. Like, again, it's just pointing out shitty behavior and Logan Paul acting like a fucking moron over it. But what I think is extremely funny is that there's a fucking community note attached to this. Let me read this shit for you. TommyInnit did not run to Twitter because Logan ignored him. Tommy posted a screenshot of an impulsive video where Logan can be seen advertising Prime during a Gaza conflict segment. Like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like, the fucking community notes have him cooked. It is just... I don't even know what else to say here, man, other than just, this is the current level that we're at when it comes to just internet beef. Apparently, we just have people calling out really, really, like, stupid things that idiots like Logan Paul and KSI are pulling, and apparently these guys are now, I guess, just going to let these individuals just live in their heads rent-free. So I guess prepare for a month of Logan Paul tweeting about TommyInnit, I guess. But of course, that's basically where this entire situation ends. Again, it's extremely hilarious, but also pathetic at the exact same time. They have grown men, apparently, even with Logan Paul, supposedly grown married men with children, beefing with people that are like half their fucking age online. Like, good grief. This is the level that we're currently at. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server down below. And I also have channel memberships if you feel like throwing me a $5. This is probably going to be one of the last videos that I end up uploading, at least until, like, this hurricane ends up, kind of going overhead. And here's hoping that things kind of, go over well when it comes to that. I'm just going to safely assume that, judging by the fact that they haven't had me evacuate this place yet, I'm going to be fine. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.